It's like I say, you have to be athletic because when people like myself, we go to the shows, we see all these on stage, we see these pumped, ripped, muscular, fit women, and there's an
Mhm.
old smoke saying says, well, like I said, when you ladies rock hard, we'll rock hard, but we understand that you to get there, you have to make it like a sacrifices,
Yeah.
time, money.
Yeah.
You're on there, you're tired, you're dehydrated, so much involved in this. Would you, if somebody could approach you, say, you know what, Jessica, I want to be a bodybuilder, I want to compete. What advice would you give them?
So first, I would comparing their frame, right? Some people have the frame for figure, some people have for bikini. So first, it's like, okay, what kind of frame do they have, and what do they naturally have? So now the whole wellness category is out. If they have like bigger, thicker legs, then like wellness is gonna more suit them. If they're more like model skinny, then bikini is gonna more suit them, right? For figures, more a bit of the upper body, and fitness is with the skills. So first, I think doing a show, like one show, really teaches a person about their body and how to biohack their body. Because you learn so much about food, and you really also get an appreciation for food, especially when you're hungry. Because in prep, you will have those days where you're hungry, and you really are like you become thankful as well for food when you're hungry for food. It's kind of like you want what you can't have, and then I realized like wow, like we are so blessed to live the life that we have. We can go to the grocery store anytime and like pick up whatever food we want. Like not everyone has that ability. So, anyways, I kind of went off on a tangent there, but
That's all right.
so yeah, first thing like just kind of looking at their body, kind of see what they want to do. Do they have an athletic background, or like they would want to do something like in fitness, and then encouraging them to try a show, and maybe they may do jump into two different categories and kind of see how the judges place them. And see like did they do better in bikini or did they do better in figure, and then they kind of decide where they want to go from that and decide from there.
hmm we have a question from MKL, and he says, "This is how long did it takes you to work on your flexibility to do gymnastics?"
Gymnastics. Yeah. So I started in at 30 and I'm now 39. But it's been like a constant progress. Like when I was 30, I couldn't even do a handstand. So that was where I was starting from. Like I was starting with literally no gymnastic experience. Um, and now gymnastics is something I really love doing, like as an adult. So I would encourage anybody, like even if you think I don't think it's ever too late. Not with this sport. Like there's women, they're competing in their 40s and 50s in this sport. So I'm learning, today or last time I was at gymnastics, I was learning a back handspring.
Yeah, like I said, there's quite a few ladies. I've interviewed a lady who was in her 60s competing. Lady 56 just who competes in bikini. I think there's a growing number of women who hit in the sport in their later life, And I think this sport, like I said, I've been a fan of it for a long time. And from the interviews I've talked with you ladies, I get to gain knowledge, from these
Mm,
actors. Because, like I said, mostly I was really mostly interviewing with women in the divisions I like. Like I really was more a fan of women's bodybuilding. I wasn't too big fan of women's physique. I call it watered down women's bodybuilding, but good number of my interviews were all women with physique. I've interviewed women with figure, women. Like I said, you're my fourth fitness competitor, and even I've interviewed some ladies who are bikini competitors, and I learned different things about each and one of you, how y'all work, how you're trained, your process, and I really understand. Like I said, again, my crime is I'm a muscle person smell, but from this doing these interviews, reaching out to women like yourself, I gain knowledge, and it
mm.
helps me in my process when I do content, when I talk about you ladies. I do a podcast on Monday. We just did one. We talk about body dysmorphia. That's a big thing that affects bodybuilding. We talk about
Mhm.
judging and stuff like that. We talk about things that
And that's
really.
important because after your first show, when you've never seen yourself shredded before, like I was athletic, but I'd never seen myself shredded before. After that first show, my brain had to comprehend that I can't stay in that shredded state all the time. You know, like you have to have an on season and an off season, right? Like back when we were hunter and gatherers, the body went through this process, right? Because they would go periods where they weren't eating, and then they would have a big hunt and have lots of food, and then they would be eating. So your body can go through these stages where you have a stage where you're leaner and a stage when you're thicker. But I think both of them are really important. And yeah, I would definitely say the body dysmorphia after doing a first show, you have to learn like, okay, you have to have balance. You can't look like this all the time because then
Mhm.
otherwise that's where it gets in your head and you can get obsessed with looking a certain way and then it becomes detrimental, right?
Mhm.
Life is about balance. So that's definitely one thing if someone's getting into a bodybuilding show. I had a great first coach because she was also a nutritionist. So she kind of warned me about these things ahead of time. And then coming out of the show, I had her and she was like guiding me on like how to put weight back on and mentally like be okay with it, especially as a woman, right? Like putting the weight back on. But it's not like I wouldn't. It is fun, but it isn't fun because you get to eat a lot. We get to eat more, and you get to enjoy more eating. But there's a part of it where you feel sluggish, you feel tired, like you just feel groggy. You need more naps. Like I just find, when you're putting on weight, I tend to feel like those things sometimes.
I can agree with that because, like I said, I'm a big man here. Sometimes, I can do stuff that is also that really really can really push me. And that's a good thing. I'm doing that. That helps me burn calories more. You know, and because again, it's a process when you try to lose weight. And you being an athlete, it's a bigger process to diet, to train, to work on the things that you need to work on, especially you're going to the Olympia. This is the big stage, especially for your career. Here we got here from for our dear friend Ms. Bridget Bouchard. She says, "Can I start gymnastics at 46?"
You
I'm
come
50.
on
I'm not
out.
thinking. I would.
You know what?
I'm just.
I saw a video the other day, and I hope I am this woman. She was doing gymnastics, and she's like 85. Like I hope I'm like doing gymnastics at 85. So I mean, like, are you going to be doing stuff at like crazy? Like no, like the stuff that I can do compared to the stuff that Taylor can do, because she's been doing gymnastics her whole life, and she's like 10 years younger. There's a difference there, right? But you definitely can still in your 40s, in your 50s. You could always, your body is incredible and it can learn new things, it can grow, it can gain muscle, it can get more flexible. So my answer is yeah, you can still join gymnastics. You can join it at any age. Fuck it. Like
Not,
do you enjoy life and if
mm,
you want to do it, fucking do
not me.
it.
I'm done. Fuck that. No, no. I got two bad knees like Stone Cold Steve Austin. I have a pacemaker in my chest. I'm good that I'm under 400 pounds, but still I'm not seeing my wobbling. You be seeing I look like a roly poly rolling down the hill or something like that. I mean, nah, man, I couldn't do it. Respect
Yeah.
everybody who can, but not me. This is for a man. Shout out to man. Davey says it would be weird to see Sherry do flips and gymnastics on stage like the fitness ladies. And that's talking about Sherry Piami. I doubt she ever do it. This is also from a man KL. It says, I'm surprised you didn't do yoga. They have uh, postures that could be gymnastic like. Is that you like flipping you get more
Oh
flexible,
yeah,
but
I've done
it's so.
yoga. I've definitely done yoga like over my years and hot yoga, moksha yoga. I enjoy a good yoga class. Stretching and flexibility are two different things. So yoga is definitely good for stretching, but increasing flexibility, there's certain techniques like dynamic and PNF, those types of things you can look up because you can stretch and not get flexible, and you can also flexibility is like a separate thing that you actually really have to work on. And when I'm working on my flexibility, my legs are sore the next day, like I did a leg workout, because you're actually lengthening the muscles. And I was just talking about this with my gymnastic coach today because she was saying like I can really tell from when you started to now. Like if you look at your leg muscles, my legs have become more flexible, and you can see the muscles actually look longer in my legs. So that's something that, yeah, yoga definitely will help with stretching, and it can help with flexibility. But for if you really want to get flexible, you really have to focus on it. You have to think of your flexibility as a workout that you do, and
Hmm.
prepare to also be sore from that flexibility workout and recover from it.
Hmm. This is from my man KL. He's a clown. He says, "Get a treadmill if you can afford it, or work out stairs." Hell no, I can't do. I told you again. I got two bad knees like Stone Cold Steve. But one of my knees bone on bone. If I get on any kind of stairs, it's gonna kill me. No, I'm not gonna do that unless I get surgery. I'm thinking about doing that.
Yeah.
Also, he
Studies
says,
are showing though that yeah, I'm 39. Studies are
definitely.
showing like if you have a choice between an hour of cardio or an hour of weight training is way more beneficial for weight loss. Not only does it burn calories for like cardio will burn calories for like 2 hours, weight training will burn calories for like 48 hours afterwards. Or yeah, so basically 2 days. But it also builds your muscle, it builds your testosterone and muscle mass. 1 pound of muscle mass needs 100 calories, where 1 pound of fat needs 2 calories. So as you're lifting weights and you're putting on muscle mass, you're going to increase your metabolism as well. So if you have a choice, I would always choose weights over cardio. You know, to be the truth, I'm not a big fan of cardio at all. Like if people,
No,
you know what I mean? Like I
nobody
am
really is.
not a person to run. And one time for a show, I was assigned a lot of cardio and I started running a lot and my ass started to flatten out. And I was like, no, this ain't gonna happen. So Stairmaster, like if I'm doing cardio, like I'm doing Stairmaster. Because when you look at marathon runners, right? You see how like they're stick thin and like they really don't have much glutes because the body needs to get rid of that muscle to make them faster. So I don't know, my cardio, I gymnastics is great cardio and dance is great cardio. I like hit training, like 20 minutes more like the sprint type of stuff and like stairs, climbing stairs. I find that is just it builds muscle, but you still get your heart rate up.
Yeah, I know that's good. I was going to the gym a bit, but I have issues. I got like tear here, the shoulder, spares here. I try to do a late weightlifting if I can. I used to love doing when I was in high school. I was, one of the strongest guy on my team. I mean, I used to love to
Nice.
lift the weights. I mean, but like I said, and one thing also is like one thing about sport that people don't understand about, especially your family and friends, what they think of you being in bodybuilding.
They're all like really supportive. You know, I say like at first they like because I think I've just been a dancer and a performer my whole life. You know, like my family and friends are like, yeah, this seems about right. You can find a stage and perform on it. Like she's gonna do it. So yeah, they, I've had friends come with me to shows and be backstage and they're helping me with my bikini glue. They're like taking pictures of me in the hotel room because I have to have like so many pictures to send to my coach for check-in. So and it's been fun, going on those road trips and friends coming and having them backstage. One of my good friends, Autumn, she runs a dance studio here in Cambridge. She has come with me to one of my shows. So having her backstage was phenomenal. She's a dance teacher, and that having her stretch me out. Oh my gosh, I wish I could bring her with me every time.
Yeah, it's good that you have that because I think some people don't understand. Because I talked to Lisa, how sometimes we get to sport, it changes your lifestyle
Right.
because you can't do the thing like everybody else do. You can't go like
Well, and that's the thing. Like I will say, like the people that in my 20s that I would like drink and party with, yeah, I don't hang out with those people anymore. Right. So like you do, in a sense, there will be friends that you drift away from and then there will be other friends that you drift towards too. And that's just, I think that's life, right?
yeah,
It is what
because
it is.
like sometimes, yeah, sometimes when you grow and change, if those people can't come along with you, then let them stay
Yeah.
behind where they're at. With anything, as a person, as we evolve, we mature. We don't do the same things that we used to do. We don't like the same things we used to like.
Yeah.
It's just about life. If those people are stuck, then you know what? They're still in their childhood. It's time to be an adult. Even though I lived with my mama for most of my life, so but but what I say is not my job. I couldn't afford to get my own place. It was too expensive. But anyway, I'd say we're not gonna hold her much too longer because we do appreciate the time she's given us. And
You're
we do
welcome.
wish her all the best
Thank you.
in this upcoming Olympia. I mean, it's a lot of work. I mean, you finally got there. I know you're proud of yourself. I know your people who know you, like your family and friends, are proud of you. And and this is a question I asked some of you ladies: what would you say that you get out of the most of as being a bodybuilder? What's the thing that feel like you get out of bodybuilder, out of overall in your life?
I would say from I love the process, right? I also enjoy learning about body hacking, and bodybuilding is like biohacking your body. You really learn a lot. I like growth. I like challenge. I think that's just what it is. Like I get, um, my time on the stage, and I get to perform, which is something I've always loved since I was a little girl. But then it's not just about being on that stage, like the process that you go through. Like I enjoy doing the gymnastics. I enjoy it's become a lifestyle. Like going to the gym isn't I look at it, it's not something I have to do, it's something I get to do. And I think people need to think about it that way because there are, injuries, there are illnesses where people can't go to the gym. They don't get to go to the gym. Like you got to think of it from like, oh, I don't have to go to the gym. I get to go to the gym. And um, that's just part, I enjoy the process of it all. And it's become a lifestyle. And now that it's become a lifestyle, I don't know. I feel great. So why would I change? And unless it's to biohack and feel greater. I'm always looking to how can I better my body? How can I feel better? How can I be healthier? How can I those are the questions that I'm asking. Like what self-care can I do to get an edge up on my competition? Like a float tank, it's a 10,000 pounds of Epsom salt. You lie in that, oh my gosh, your body feels amazing. You feel like you went on a vacation for a week. Your body just feels like you had a full week where you just lounged in the sun. Like that's how relaxed your body feels, and it helps heal your muscles faster. So I'm really into natural healing and that type of thing. So I think that also just all meshes in with this lifestyle.
Yeah. This is coming from my man David. He says, I always wonder about parents reacting to their daughter in a tiny bikini on stage. I'm not sure if I would want my own daughter to do that. She's 19. Yeah, I think, yeah. That's the thing is, you don't want your little girl up there wearing high heels. I used to work at a strip club, and that's the thing you got to think about. One of my favorite comedians, people I said, last thing Daddy want to see is his daughter
Yeah,
wearing clean heels. That's on the
yeah.
pole, but y'all on the stage, getting looked at and viewed by everybody else. Here we have here. This is from my man Davris Adams. Shout out to Davris. Says, "Good evening, everyone. How's it going? Yeah, how you doing, brother?" Also, this is from Bridgetta. He says she loves entertaining. Keep her as long as you want. Well, hey, baby Jetta, I got a life. I gotta, I got things I gotta do. I would love to
I
talk to
know,
you ladies
I
all
know, I do,
day.
I do. I should go to the
Yeah,
gym.
yeah, because first we got life. But, we can't sit here and talk all day. You when you drink, when you water, you use the bathroom. I mean, come on.
I
So,
didn't know how long you wanted to go. If it was an hour and a half. I thought you said
well,
90 minutes, but
I go as long as you feel like how the conversation is going. I don't set a time limit, but sometimes you have a good conversation. But then, like I said again, when you have a life, I say, you know what? Maybe it's time for let's wrap it up a little bit and maybe go on about our business. But this is why I do this content because give y'all ladies the opportunity to share your story with people that maybe not understand what it takes. Everybody pay attention to like is this. I always say this: the guys division, like men's open, is the bottom bitch. Everybody pay attention to that. Everyone's bringing the money. Everybody pay attention to the bikini and wellness because the tits snatch division. You know, I would say fitness, figure, women's bodybuilding, and physique are getting a little stink eye. shows are dropping off. I mean, so few shows for y'all compared to women's bodybuilding, because I think it's a tougher division. But this is why I bring people like you on to share your story, to let people know who may not understand what it takes to be an athlete in organizations like NPC, IFBB, OCB, whatever um, organization promotes bodybuilding. Because you know what, there's something you need to understand. Here, we got here from a man, shout out to my man David. He says, best wishes at the Olympia.
Thank you.
Thank you,
Really
David.
appreciate it. Thank you.
And it's from man Vinny K says, he says this is let's go top five.
Yeah. Top five.
Top five. Top five. Like top five, like they book it to you like five time. Like my favorite person, Andre Shaw, five time Miss Olympia. She might be 6 times Miss Olympia. So, we do appreciate the time she's given us. And we wish you all the best. If she ever want to come back on, maybe after Olympia, because is there any plans to do any shows before then? You're just gonna squarely focus on the Olympia.
I'm gonna be laser focused on Olympia, so that's how I'm setting my sights. I don't plan on doing a show in between.
Mm-hmm. That's one thing. I think I see some competitors who might do like one person who
And I talked to my coach about it because I thought about applying to the Arnold. But that would it would involve then like leaning out. Like now I'm going into a building phase. I'm going into putting on muscle and building muscle. And I can do that for the next 7-8 months. And then I can lean out for 3-4 months. Whereas if I were to do a show midway, I'd only get a couple months building, then I have to lean out. And then it would be like a little bit of building and then leaning out. I'll get much more because I am about the longevity of the sport. So that's why you'll only ever see me do one max 2 shows a year. Because it is hard on the body. If you're doing 3-4 shows a year, you're gonna burn out, right? So for my body, for longevity, a max 2 shows a year as well. And I decided that a long time ago.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I know. I seen some ladies who did like 6 or 7 shows this year, and that was in women's physique, figure, because there's a lot more shows for them. And I don't know how you can do it. I mean, the cost of traveling, everything else, and then try to get ready and conditioning, all that. There's so much work to it. It's not a simple sport. But I'll say like this: I respect what y'all do as athletes, and that's again, you are an athlete, you are a woman, you are somebody dedicated to yourself and your sport. And you know what? If you don't understand that, like one of my favorite comedians, Bernie Mac says, "Fuck them." You gotta live for you. You can't live for nobody else. Because if you don't understand, that's your problem. And I would say, I wish you the best of luck. I mean,
thank you.
You're going in there. You got a lot of ladies who've been there. So, this is your first Olympia. You got your little buddy, little T in your corner, and that's a good thing.
Yeah.
And I know your family and friends, they are supporting for you. So we'll let you go. We have anybody want to shout out?
I will give a shout out to. I mean, there's so many people that have helped me in my journey along the way, and you know who you are. My friends, my family, my coaches. We could really go on, and I could go in depth with this. So I just want to say thank you. You know who you are, and I appreciate it. It's part of the reason why I've made it to where I've made it is also because of the people in my life and how they've supported me, helped me, and who I've been coached by.
That's good.